Hey guys, and welcome to episode 1 of Conan Exiles Top Mods. In this series, we're going to start looking at some of the top mods released for Conan Exiles. So without further ado, let us begin. So here are my top 8 mods from the 3rd of March, in no particular order. Number 1. This mod is called Brewery Mod Test, version 0.1. So in this mod, it adds a new item to the game called the Brewery Mixer. You can see it here. Now it's got a lovely little interface here, even shows you everything that you need. So it says that if you put in bark, seeds, and aloe leaves, and you turn it on, it will create something for you. So let's see what it creates. Oh, also plant fiber. Let's get some plant fiber. Put in some plant fiber. There we go. So it's crafting aloe ale. Oh yes. So it's using 20 seeds and 20 plant fiber and 1 aloe leaves per beer. I think it's really cool. So let's have one of these beers here. Let's throw these in my inventory. And what these do, basically, is they give you the regeneration effect. But it's a slightly different method of gaining regeneration effect. So obviously you don't need quite as many aloe leaves, but you need a load of plant fiber and a load of seeds. And I just think it's really cool that there's crafting beer, because you've got the ale kegs in the game, but no way to create anything like that. So having something to make beer from, I guess from a role-playing standpoint, as much as anything, would be really fun. My second mod is called Boss HP Lowered for Single-Player Games. Now I think this is really important, because if you play Conan Exiles in single-player, some of the creatures are just ridiculously too tough to kill, unless you're using the God mode cheats, or just giving yourself ridiculous amounts of stat points, for example. Now what this does is this reduces the hit points of most tough creatures and reduces them to an amount that you can kill on your own. So typically it will reduce anything's hit points down to around 1,000. Now let's have a look here at some of the values. So it says here things like Black Rhino were changed from 2,199 hit points to 800 hit points. Rhino King was changed from 14,829 hit points to 1,000 hit points. Dragon down from 17,355 hit points to 1,000 hit points. So basically this just makes it possible for solo players to be able to kill those endgame creatures if they don't have a load of friends on their server, or if they're just playing on single player. So I think that's an absolutely awesome mod for single player games. My next mod pick is called Building Unlimited. Basically, what Building Unlimited allows you to do is create an item. So let's get some stone and some wood, and I'll show you how this mod works. This mod essentially allows free crafting, which I think is epic. This is a really important mod, I think, for single player games. If you're interested in base building and base designs, for multiplayer server admins who don't want to have to use the admin palette to spawn a load of items, which can be really heavy and also really time consuming. And basically this just allows free building. So what I've done here is I've built myself a sandstone foundation. I want to place my sandstone foundation, and once I've placed it, I can then continually build using these sandstone foundations at no extra cost. So look here, all I did was I built one, I placed it on my hotbar, and now I can just keep building with it over and over again. So once you've set a foundation down there, you notice that it cancelled and I had to craft a new one. When you start a new build, you need to craft an additional foundation. So for example, you start with a foundation, then if you want to continue with foundations, you need to have one more additional foundation. So let me just show you another example over here. So we're going to start in a new building spot. So we'll start over here somewhere. So my first foundation I'm going to place will remove the foundation. I will craft one more foundation, and then I should be able to freely place this foundation again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And I can keep doing this with every different building type that I want to have. Let's see how much stone I've got. So I've got some walls now. So I will craft one wall, and I will be able to continually place walls over and over again. Now this is going to be absolutely amazing. If you're a server admin and you want to build some really cool assets on your server, but you don't want to have to spawn in all of the items over and over and over again, you can just keep on going with this. I mean, look how many walls I've just built here from one wall. Now one of the downsides to this mod is that after you've built all this stuff and you realise that you don't want it anymore, you get materials back. So when I demolish these things here, you see that I'm picking up stone and wood into my inventory. Now that might be helpful if you want to just gather materials to build something like a foundation, and then you want to, you know, just make a load of free foundations and demolish them to get resources back in order to create the starting items that you need for other things. Then that's possible. It's definitely doable. That was quite loud. So I think this is a really, really helpful mod. Maybe even for PvP benefits, if you just want to load this mod up, start single player, create yourself an epic PvP based design with space for all of your vaults and all of your hidden loot rooms and everything else. And you don't want to have to just spend hours gathering materials to do that. You can just use this mod, make yourself an epic based design, and then go into the real world and start collecting materials. You can always come back then, I guess, to your single player version and sort of see how it works. So my next two mod picks, they're pretty basic, but they're very useful. So my fourth mod is called Wood to Branches. So basically what this does is it adds an option at your carpentry bench to turn wood into branches. It's as simple as that. Now the recipe says that you get one wood into two branches at the carpentry table. So that's really simple, but it's a good quality of life because at higher levels you don't want to just be out farming branches all the time. It's so easy to go out there with your high level pickaxe or your high level steel hatchet and just gather a load of wood, right? But if you want a load of branches for making thatch roofs, for example, it's going to be a pain in the bum, and you're going to have loads of wood saved up from before, so you can just go to your carpenter's bench and make yourself a load of branches. Now my next mod pick is very similar to that. It's called Bark Byproduct. So basically, when you make shaped wood at a carpenter station, it produces 3 bark as a byproduct. It's just another simple little quality of life thing that really makes people's life easier. You don't have to go out and farm bark for hours with NPCs, or, you know, take a pickaxe to 1,000 trees in order to get enough bark to make some leather. You just get bark as you're making shaped wood. And you need shaped wood for a lot of the tier 2 buildings and tier 3 buildings, and everything else that you need to craft midway through the game. So having that option to make bark just passively while you're making shaped wood, I think is going to be a really helpful tip. Now my next mod is called Advanced Arrows. So basically what this does is this changes the weight of arrows so they're not ridiculously heavy. So you can see here that I've got a stack of 99 fire arrows here, and they weigh 49.50. So it's still quite heavy, but the weight has been reduced dramatically. So let's plop these on my bow. And what the mod also does is it changes the damage to make archery more viable. Oh, I completely missed then. Oh, 7 points. Bullseye. Was it a bullseye? Not quite. So basically archery at the moment isn't very viable in the game. The bows do such little damage. The arrows are so difficult to craft. They require so many materials, and they're so heavy. So what this mod does is it just changes all of the arrow types to do more damage. It also makes them all lighter. It also changes the crafting recipes for making these arrows. So for example, flint head arrows and bolts now only require 10 branches and 10 stones, Ironhead arrows and bolts require 10 branches and 2 iron bars. Snake arrows require 10 branches. Fire arrows and bolts require 10 branches, 2 steel bar and 10 brimstone. And razor arrows and bolts require 10 branches and 3 steel bars. So making all of those arrows that you need for your little archery mission isn't going to take you forever to gather the resources. And those arrows are going to do more damage, and you'll be able to carry more of them at the same time, which is really awesome. So this works for all the different arrow types. And let's just try and get a lucky 10. See if we can manage a lucky 10. No. So my next mod, guys, is called TOA World Maps RP. Now this, I think, is an absolutely awesome mod. So let's go ahead and open up the map. Here we go. So you can see, guys, that all of these areas now have color-coded locations. They all have names. And also, if you mouse over the name of the area, it gives you a handy little level guide for which area you should choose. So for example, the starting area down here is level 1 to 10. But it's got all of these tiny little locations here, which makes, if you're running around with your friends and you can see your map marker location on the map, and your friend asks you where you are, and you can say, hey, I'm in Karanor, and they'll be like, oh cool, I'm in Varag, I'm going to run over to you. You know exactly where each other are. You can also see where you want to head next based on your level requirements. Level 5 to 15. Let's head over to Verkania. Alright, whereabouts in Verkania? Oh, I was thinking Rondor, down here. That sounds like a great idea. You know, it really just gives you precise locations where you can call out people. I mean, a lot of people have the coordinates on the map or the map grid references, but I think this is done in such a cool way. And it's really immersive to have all these places with all these different names here, and especially all these helpful little mouse over tips to see exactly where you are. And your location now has gone from being a huge yellow dot to this tiny little red dot here, so you can see much more accurately where you are. So guys, my final mod pick is the one I think that changes the game the most. Now this mod is called Armor Loot Drops, bracket, human drops and loot chests, close bracket. Basically adds lootable armor to NPCs that you kill. So let's go and see if any NPCs will drop stuff for us. So guys, let's see if these have got any drops for us. We'll use our new bow, just to see how much damage these do.
God will have your soul.
Lovely. So let's have a look. See what's in their loot. Oh, Dafari Watcher Mask. That's cool. Anything on that guy? Oh, we've got some Dafari Skin Greaves. So we got some Dafari Skin Greaves, so put those on. And a Dafari Watcher Mask. So there we go, so that's cool. We've got some new clothing that dropped from these Dafari guys here. Let's see. It says durability. So let's have a look at the armor difference with the Dafari Greaves. So it's 4 armor less than the heavy ones. Let's have a look at the helmet. That is 7 armor less than a heavy helmet. But it looks cool. It adds some variety to the game, and it allows you to loot some of the armors while you're running around killing stuff, which I think is really cool. I mean, it's something that the game doesn't really have. You kill an NPC and all you're going to get is resources. I think it's nice that it adds the option to loot some cool stuff from these guys. It gives you a reason to want to look in their inventory rather than just kill them for no reason, you know? Look at this guy. He has some Dafari Skin Greaves as well. It also adds potential new loot items to chests. Here we go, we've got a Zamorian Dancer skirt, some wind chimes, and a Dafari sword. So let's have a look at that. We'll put on our Zamorian Dancer skirt, equip our Dafari sword, and We've got some wind chimes to place down somewhere. So there we go. So I think that adds a lot of new sort of PvE content to the game. It's a reason to look in all these chests and kill all these guys and look in their loot to see what they've got. Maybe they've got some cool stuff, who knows. Anyway guys, that was my top 8 mod picks from March the 3rd. I will have another mod video coming up probably next week. We'll see how the mod developers work with the new developer kit. Bear in mind it's only been out since the 24th of February. We're just about 1 week in now. So if you liked the video guys, please like it. If you disliked it, please dislike. If you really liked it, subscribe, leave a comment if you like. Until next time, laters.